celestial equator coordinate system. Now, what is the necessity of learning this? Is very much necessary, because when you are going to operate a telescope, you have to know where the moon is, where the sun is, where the star is. Otherwise, there is no point looking into the darkness. So, I will start with the moon right now. The moon can also be found, you know where it can be found, at the ecliptic of a sun. So, this is an image of the moon. It was taken by me actually last year. Here you can see something. This part, unlit part of the moon, right? Now you might be wondering what that thing is, because we see moon mostly like a crescent shape. But moon, actually this part, this is the light of the earth being reflected from the moon. And this is the sunlit portion of the moon. This region is called Earthshine, or it is also known as Da Vinci Group, from the name of Leonardo da Vinci. So what you can observe on the moon are the craters, the mountains. We mostly know about the craters, but there are mountains on the moon. Some as high as almost 1.5 kilometers. So, just can you go to the other picture, please? Yeah, this one. So, this one was also taken by me. Here you can see a crater, right? This is a crater, and this rugged portion, this rough region, this is a mountain range on the moon. It's known as Montes Alps. Now, Montes Alps also means lunar Alps. Now you might know that Alps is there in Europe, a mountain range in Europe. Similarly, on the moon we have a mountain range. The peaks are as high as 2.5 to 2 kilometers. There are isolated peaks, as you can see. Here is an isolated peak. Then there also we have isolated peaks right over there. You can see the shadow cast by the sun. This is a crater. This is the famous Plateau crater. You can easily see it. Even today it is visible on the moon. Now you might be wondering what is the age of that crater. Now, to put that into perspective, the Plateau crater is as old as 3.5 billion years. That is almost a few, you can say in human perspective, a few seconds after the Earth was born. So the moon was bombarded by a huge meteor right over there. And after it was bombarded, a shallow region was formed, just like how puddle is formed, right? So a shallow region was formed where later on, in the moon, there was volcanic eruption. That volcanic lava, everything got accumulated there and formed this flat base. You can see there, this flat base, which indicates that the crater formed first, then this one came along. And this region, the suture you can see, is known as Valles Alps. It is a valley actually. In the moon there are valleys. So please go to the next one. This one. There you can see the same crater, but we have Archimedes. All of these craters are as old as 2 billion years. Now, that's the most fascinating part about our moon. There are lots of craters. There are dark regions on the moon. You might have seen, when you observe the moon, there are dark regions on the moon, right? These are actually places where lava erupted in 3.5 billion years ago. And later on they solidified and became dark like this. So these are all lava plains. They are called seas. We always say that these are seas and something, but no, they are not seas. They are lava oceans actually. So calling them seas is kind of not very accurate. So let's go to this. Now, contrary to popular belief, we can actually see the sun with a telescope, but of course with a filter. If you don't use the filter, you will not see anything for the rest of your life. Your retina will burn. So never try to, even if anyone has a telescope here, never try to observe the sun with a telescope. You will lose your eyesight because your retina will literally burn. This image was taken by Andrew McCarthy. He is a famous astrophotographer. Even got featured in many magazines. Anyways, this image was taken by me. In this image you can see these various blue hair-like structures. These are called solar prominences. In the sun, there are always loops, or you can say outbursts of energy coming from the sun, and they can be observed with a telescope. You need specialized filter. Like for this one, an hydrogen alpha filter was used, a hydrogen alpha filter. You can see those black spots, right? Those black spots are actually sunspots. These are, okay, this is quite a bit of complex thing, because even scientists are researching currently what these actually are. These are cooler regions in the sun and highly magnetized. So you can see the sun. There is another. This one you might need a bit professional setup, but there is one very basic setup which you can observe yourself. Yes, this was taken using a white light filter. You can see the light coming. This is mostly white, black and white. There are sunspots here. So can you zoom in a bit? Yes, you can see this region. This is a bit cooler region, and you can see this. This is called umbra. The black region is called umbra, similar to how we define eclipses. And this is the penumbra. So you can see the sun, and there are a lot of things you can know about the sun. You might have been following the news recently. Spacecraft that just touched the sun. Of course, it did not land on the surface at 6,000 degrees Celsius, but it crossed the corona of the sun. Now, corona is a bit terrifying, but sun also has corona.
That was US satellite, no?
Outer atmosphere of the sun.
US satellite it was, which
yes, Parker Solar Probe, NASA satellite. So the sun also has this outer atmosphere. I'm not going to repeat the name. The outer atmosphere, where it grazed past that outer atmosphere and then again made roundabouts. So there are a lot of things about the sun, and I'm not going to go into the detail. I'm just going into the observation part. So just a second. Just move to the video. There. Okay, so apart from the sun and moon, you can see a lot of other stuff. This image was taken by me from my new telescope. This is Jupiter. Here you can see some things like this band and then this spot. Now what are these? This band, these are bands of gases. For example, this red band indicates the ammonia that is there in Jupiter. And that spot is actually a cyclone. You have seen satellite images of cyclone, often they're shown in TV. This cyclone, in here we have a cyclone for almost a week, then it dies off after landfall. But this will never have any landfall because there is no land on Jupiter. This will continue, and it has been continuing since 350 years. 3 centuries long storm or tempest. Move along. Saturn. And this is Saturn. Now you can see the marvelous thing about Saturn is its rings. Another marvelous thing you can see in this photograph, that's why I chose it. A little bit, yes. Zoom for it. This, can you see this region? The ring abruptly ending there. This is actually the shadow of the planet in its behind the rings. So this is actually one of the biggest detail I can say. You can't see it with an ordinary telescope. You need a lot more things, and even your eyes can't see it all the time. You need clear conditions. You need a lot of things to see it. I was lucky that I got it. So these are the planets. You can even see Mars. Since Mars is below the horizon, it will come later on December 2022. So that time I will probably see it. But the solar system is not the limit. We can look even further. So let's move into galaxies now. Triangulum. This is the famous Triangulum galaxy. You can even see it with a telescope. You can see it with a telescope. So that how it looks like in a telescope. You will just see one. Have you ever seen a dandelion seed? Dandelion seed. So there you will see it like this, a central star, and it is surrounded by some fuzzy kind of thing, a mesh or hair or something like that. So that mesh or hair is the 300 trillion stars within that galaxy. It's another island universe, you can say. That is the Triangulum galaxy. We have another galaxy. Unfortunately, I don't have a photograph of that galaxy, and this one was not taken by me, to be clear. So that is the Andromeda galaxy, the great Andromeda galaxy. First of all, when scientists observed that galaxy, they thought it was a nebula. We'll come to that later. This is actually a galaxy. Now, galaxy is not just a cluster of only stars. They contain stars, black holes, neutron stars, magnetars, planets, nebula, star cluster, globular cluster, everything mushed up together to form a galaxy. There are a lot of other galaxies. We'll just zoom past them. Please choose this one. Not this one. This famous image, this is the Leo triplet. This is the Leo triplet. you can see those three galaxies. And there's one thing that is not a star. Most probably it's a quasar, because the field of view is that much that you can even see a quasar down. Now quasars are hyperactive galaxies. That's all I can say. They eat up so much matter that they radiate. You know, more you eat, more you get energy. And now, okay. So now this is my favorite. I have not yet seen this, but I am planning to fix. This is the Boats galaxy, and this is the Cigar galaxy. Of course, this is very weird that we name a galaxy after a cigar. So these galaxies are located very far away. Like, and I mentioned Andromeda galaxy's name. It's 2 million light years away. And these two galaxies, they don't occur together. You can see from Earth that they are together, but they are far away. They are millions of light years away. This galaxy in particular, you can see something coming out from there, right? These regions. It's actually, this star is in the, this galaxy is forming stars at an enormous rate. These galaxies are also called starburst galaxies. You can see them, but they are very dim. Now let's move on to nebulae. Nebulas. And they are my favorite objects actually. Yes, this one, please. Yeah. So this is my favorite nebula. You can see it, but you won't see this thing. Now let me explain. Then you will say, is that a fake? No, it's not a fake. Let me explain. This is a long exposure image. So here what you will see is this region. With your telescope or any telescope, you will see this region. This is called this region. This is the trapezium. It's a star cluster, 4 stars. They are shaped like a trapezium. This is the trapezium cluster, and in a new research they have found that within the trapezium there is a black hole. Though it's still a research going on, you can see the nebulosity also in there, but you can't see this extended region. To see that, you have to take hours long of data, sometimes 25 hours. That much amount of data is required to actually capture that. And these colors, some of the colors are not visible to the human eye. And these colors exist. They are because of the ionization of various gases. If you see green, you will know that it is oxygen. Sometimes you will see the red colors that are because of hydrogen gas. They ionize. They become excited and release colors. Just like when we are excited, we do a lot of things. We laugh, we dance, something like that. But how to see those colors? You can't see the color every time. To see the color, you have to even edit it. So this is an edited image. It is not a fake. This is false coloring. Those colorings that are done to show actually how it is like. That was the Orion Nebula. Show this. This is very beautiful. This is the Crab Nebula. However, this is I think, I'm not sure. This is probably an image by Hubble Space Telescope. Now you might be wondering how this nebula formed in the first place. This nebula formed when a star died tragically by exploding. You have often heard that whales explode after death. When whale is washed ashore, they stay there for a moment and then they just burst. And when they blast, it's very, very gross. Let's not talk about it. Similar way, when a star blasts, it blasts in a cataclysmic way. If I even try to scale it with a nuclear explosion, it will be like this whole building, maybe a supernova, and a bacteria in this building would be just a nuclear bomb. So it's not fair to compare a nuclear bomb with these things. These are so dangerous that they can destroy star systems in and around them and form this extended gas shell. Right in the middle of the shell, there is what we call a stellar corpse of a star. There is a neutron star pulsating in there, pulsating, excited. So you can see that also. With a telescope, you can easily see the previous Orion Nebula and this one also. But to see this one, you need clear skies. In Shilchar, यहाँ तो light pollution আর অভাব নেই. Should যে পারে light জ্বালিয়ে দেয়. I don't know why they are so afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark. Anyways. Demon's eyes do have that sadness later. Unfortunately, this image is a little bit blurred. This is the Pleiades star cluster. You can see it right now. It's right over there, the Pleiades. These are 7 stars. They are called the 7 sisters actually. In mythology, they are the 7 sisters. Now you can see some blurriness. This is not due to the image. Those blurred things around the star are actually the parent nebula from which it formed. Nebula forms stars. Just like that colorful Orion nebula I showed you, inside them stars can form at an alarming rate. Many of the stars, sometimes they eject from the nebula, but some still form. And when they form, they do it in a violent way. Similarly, stars were formed there, and later on the nebula dissipated because every material has been used up. Now this material will just spread into space and become nothing. And in the same way, in the Orion Nebula, stars will continue to form, and maybe after millions or even billions of years, I don't know how much time it will take, the nebula will just disappear because all the materials will be used up. Last, I think we are done with the last image. Okay, so there are a lot of things you have seen, you can see with the telescope. Now, I can't just tell you that this one, you can see that and that. I have to show you. So I showed you galaxies, nebula, star cluster. Now binary stars. I don't have any image of binary stars, but there is one very famous binary star. You can see it almost throughout the year. It's known as the albedo, or you can call it gamma Cygni. Albedo is better. Anyways. So albedo, why it is so famous? There are two stars that occur just like that together. Those two stars, they look like dots. Anyways, so they look like dots, and one star which looks a little bit bigger is yellow and the other is blue. So this contrast, when you see this is mind blowing. It's the most beautiful thing. You can even search it on Google. Just type albedo and you will find this beautiful star. And this brings me to my last image, which is of a galaxy. You will see binary stars. There are countless of them. Even with the telescope, you can see. This one is known as the Whirlpool Galaxy. It is located in near the constellation of Ursa Major. You can see two galaxies here, right? One galaxy almost dying, and the other is right over there. It's feeding. Actually, these two galaxies collided with each other. The same way, the Andromeda Galaxy will collide with our Milky Way Galaxy 3 billion years from now. No one will be seeing it. But this one has already collided almost few million years ago, and the light is reaching us now. This one is for 41 million years. 41 million light years away, which means the light that we are receiving right now left that galaxy 41 million years ago. At that time the Himalayas were forming, and when the Himalayas were forming, the light came and it reached us now. So what you are seeing, everything in space, starting from the moon, which is 1 second of course, the sun, the galaxies, everything, you see them in their past. They are not in their present stage, because the present of the universe is forever hidden from us. You will never see it. Because of the speed of light, which is the fastest and also the slowest, you will see that those images are literally old. For this one, they collided and this galaxy died a very tragic and not fair death. But you will know it after, say, 41 million years ago. So, well, 41 million years has passed, and a lot of years will pass until you will know what will happen. There is a star called Betelgeuse that's about to explode. When it will explode, and when we don't know, because just now I said that the starlight takes a lot of time to reach. So when we will know it, it will be maybe 600 years will be gone, because it is almost 600 light years away. That means if the star explodes now, 600 years later we'll say, oh, RIP Betelgeuse. That's all. So thank you. That's all I can tell you now.